What up, folks? I'm ultrazillatoys, and today I have a review of the JADA Toys Street Fighter 2 FEI Long. That's right, my son. In this cool arcade-styled box. Very cool idea. I like it a lot. Here you see the first figures of the first wave, and it's FEI Long and Ryu and Chun-Li, and I'm so bored with Ryu and kind of Chun-Li too. But FEI Long, I don't have a figure of FEI Long, and I've really wanted one. So this was one I needed to have. Not only because I like the character in Street Fighter 2, but I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. And obviously, FEI Long was always modeled after Bruce Lee. This is a really cool box, honestly. However, I have not been able to find these. They've been dropping at Targets, and none near me has gotten them. Now my pal Steven of Steven's Toy Reviews has gotten his hands on these a couple of times, and yeah, he was able to find a FEI Long and a Ryu. Chun-Li's actually not out yet from what I know, but I honestly really only wanted FEI Long, so while I appreciate Steven, grabbing both at the time, this is the one I really wanted. For now, I'm definitely not going all in on this line. Obviously, I've already, said, nah, on Ryu. But, we'll see how it goes. If these are really cool, and I've heard really, really good things so far. I really like this packaging. But we'll see. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. And here's FEI Long out of the package. And a couple of little notes. While I was taking this guy out, I don't know if it was QC, but there was some weirdness to the packaging. It almost felt like a really, really well done repack, but I really didn't see much evidence of that. There wasn't double tape, but it almost looked like there was a piece of tape there, and then it was taken off and put on a new one, but it was done so good. And then he had some, little, what looked like scuff marks, but they came out with just a little rag, so I don't know what that was about. But the weirdest thing was, he had a piece of masking tape from here to here. But that looked like a QC thing where they were doing the shading, and they put a little masking. See how it's totally not shaded in the middle, but then it's shaded on the sides? They had put the masking there so not to shade here, and they just forgot the masking on as they made this one. It was very strange stuff there. So, at first, I was like, well, what the heck is going on with this figure? And then I'm like, the more I look at it and the more I'm like, all right, I feel like that's what was wrong with it. It was very strange. I definitely wanted to mention that because it definitely feels like, now that I've examined it for a little while and thought about it, it definitely felt like a weird QC thing. So for accessories, FEI Long has two sets of hands. He has these kind of martial arts open hands, like so, with the two fingers together. And then he's got two fist hands. I already had put one of these hands in them. He comes with the fist hands in them. But they're very nicely done, nicely sculpted. You see some veinage on them and everything. So they're decent. They're decent hands for sure. We get an alternate face sculpt. It's okay. It feels like his mouth is tilted to the side too much. You see what I'm saying? It's pretty odd. It looks fine from this side, and I guess it looks fine from this side, but when you look at it straight forward, his mouth is crooked. I'm not sure what is up with that. That looks a little bit odd. It's leaning more this way, and he's got a twofer that's kind of popping out a little bit. It's just very strange looking. Then, his eyebrows are done well. They're crazy, but they're done well. And then the eyes are done well too. He's got a nicely shaped nose, and there goes the head. The hair, looks sufficiently Bruce Lee-esque. So that's pretty decent. I thought I was going to like this head more, but that mouth throws me off. And FEI Long comes with his kicking fire accessory. It's kind of cool. Big old accessory you put on his leg. Nice effect part. It goes from the orange into the yellow. Very nice. I do dig it. I think it works out really well. Fits on his foot pretty good. You know, takes some jiggling to come out too, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I dig it. I think it works pretty well. He just doesn't come with a stand, which would have been good for some additional kicking action, you know, flying action. But, yeah, the effect part itself is nice. And to quickly mention it, the background has, you know, the Street Fighter background. So, you know, that's pretty neat, too, if you want to keep that for display. As for the figure himself, he looks pretty good, I gotta say. The head sculpt, as we talked about before, you know, it's pretty good. I think the eyebrows are just a tad overdone, in my opinion. But, you know, I think they are a bit smaller and skinnier. The shape is right, but I feel like they're a bit, you know, skinnier in-game. Like, especially, like, kind of the cutscene, it doesn't quite look like that, and he also has kind of, like, brownish hair in that. But I get what they're trying to do here. It's fine. It's fine. You know, it does throw me off just a tad, but it looks good within itself. So I like it. You know, he's got some nice shading in the face, which is very, very cool. The eyes are done well. They're in the right spots. The mouth is pretty good on this one. He's, you know, very, you know, angry or mean or ready to fight or whatever. Ears are sculpted well. The hair is sculpted very, very well. It's pretty good. And then, you know, like I was saying, let's go over here first. He did have masking tape in the middle. But you see the shading on the side, so I bet you that's what they were working on. Really nice definition. Again, shading looks pretty good. You can see the shading on the back of the arms here as well. And the veinage and stuff. That's pretty neat. He's got some nice veinage in his arms and good overall shape there. I like it. The joints here do have some flash on it, which is, you know, a little bit of mold stuff. It's okay. I don't know if it's giving it its little bit of detent there, you know, little ratchet, but, you know, it could be part of the soft ratchet. And it's fine. We'll talk about the articulation in a second. But it's pretty good. He's got more sculpt work within this joint here. That's pretty neat. And again, it's even shaded in that joint. So that's pretty nice detail. Hands, again, look pretty good, like the ones we saw. The chest looks really good. Again, shading all around. You know, he's cut up. It looks pretty good. If you move him back, more sculpt there. Same thing in the back, too, which is cool. With that shading all the way up. So, body-wise and skin tone-wise, I think it works pretty nicely for sure. Then his pants have a nice texture. This is a soft plastic in here, kind of reminiscent of like Storm Collectibles. Speaking of like Street Fighter stuff, oh my god, I do have a bunch of those in my backlog. I think, that's a way backlog, way back when backlog. I don't know if I'll ever get to them, but we'll see. We'll see. I've had some Street Fighter figures here in the past between SHF and Storm, but now we got more. Anywho. It's got some nice folds and wrinkles, and it's nice and pleated, and it's got a little hair right there. That's most likely my curls. But you see all the definition in the pants, and that's pretty neat, man. I gotta say, I like what they did here. A lot of definition there. You know, the folds, the wrinkles with the pleating looks very, very... Is that what it's called? All these lines? Pleating? I don't know. He's got a big old butt, you know? It is what it is. Sometimes you got a big old butt. He's very chonk, actually. You know, just to mention it, he's wide. He's much wider and squatter than I expected, which is not a bad thing. It's just a little bit different. I do think it is. And then this bottom part looks pretty cool. The joints over here also have that kind of little bit of flashing going on. And then you can see his little sock things right there. You know, they are a different color, which is cool. And then his little shoes. I forget what these types of shoes are called, but that's okay. It's got a nice little, kind of like a little lime green around it. At the sole there. The bottom, not much going on at all. But the pants are really nice. The body's real. He looks good. He looks good. I guess that's what I'm saying. He looks pretty decent. It's not bad. I don't know if it's perfect FEI LONG, but it's pretty decent looking all on its own. So I guess I dig it. And as for articulation, which, you know, has been the big thing everybody's been clamoring about, the head moves really nice. The neck moves pretty decently as well. The upper body is actually really, really good. And the waist moves pretty nicely too. So that is all good. Like, you get a lot of range of motion in that body. So that is excellent. As you saw before, butterfly joint here. Really deep on both sides. So that is pretty excellent. Hinge, swivel at the shoulder. Swivel at the bicep. Double jointed elbow. Hinge going inward here. And a swivel. The inwards, you know, hinge as well here. Then the legs can split that much. Not a full split, which would have been nice, but you do get a decent enough split, I guess. Kicks forward, goes back. There's no real, like, drop-down joint per se. Swivel at the thigh. You got a double-jointed knee. Then this is interesting. You have a almost like a boot cut, but it's all the way down towards the ankle. What an odd spot. It's different. I'll give it that. It's different. I do like that. Hinge here. But the rocker isn't as hot as I would like. It rocks a bit, but it doesn't go in a proper, like, spot for me. So I think that could be improved on, to be honest, because that to me is like really important for these guys. See, he stands here. It's working, but I've had like some difficulty getting him in some poses in the last, I don't know, 12 hours or so since he's been open. I wish, yeah, it could be just a tad better. Like, I feel like the angle is just a little off. Like, he might need a little more of a cut up here to free that up a little bit. I don't know. Something, you see that? It's not like moving exactly where you would want it to move. And I think it's here. I think this should be cut a little bit deeper. But otherwise, obviously the articulation otherwise is pretty good. And, you know, I do wish he could do a full split. That would be really, really good if he could. So, yeah. A couple of things there I think JADA could work on with future figures there. So, but otherwise, yeah, it's a decently articulated figure. And for your size comparisons, here's FEI LONG with a bunch of other 1/12 scale figures you might have in your collection. I gotta say, man, they size really, really well with the SH Figuarts. So, there's my SH Figuarts for you. So, if you have some of these Figuarts, I feel like these guys go well together. And, you know, this is why I didn't want another Ryu. I already have, you know, a pretty perfect Ryu in the SHF. You know, maybe the face isn't quite right there either. But, yeah, that one does it for me. I didn't need another one, to be honest. So, these guys do match well together. So if you got one, you know, you might not think about getting the other. You know, you can mix and match. But some other figures all scale well here. You know, the Marvel Legends are actually at the ends here, maybe a little bit big. The boss fight, you know, wrestling figures there are pretty decent too. He's a little bit taller, but maybe he should be. Maybe he should be. And my final thoughts, you know, this is a pretty good figure for the price point. You get a bunch of stuff. The effect part is really nice. Alternate head, don't love it, but you get it. You know, you get extra hands, so you get your good bang for your buck. Plus, there's a lot of paint on this guy, which is really, really good for this price point, honestly. The articulation is really nice. I wouldn't say it is better than other things that I have at this price point. You know, a lot of them do have, like, butterfly joints these days. And just because it has this little cut over here, you know, a lot of folks have cuts up here, so it varies. And, you know, I think my hip joints could be a little bit better, and I think the ankle joints could be a little bit better. So, that's how I feel about that. You know, he had some weirdness out of the package, but the packaging is really nice. The one thing I want to say that I didn't say in the review so far is I really feel like the distribution should be a lot better on these guys. You know, like, I think Street Fighter is popular enough where more folks would want to see it in more places and be more accessible. So I hope that gets better in the normal, like, you know, stores that you go to, brick and mortar stores, distribution, because that would be a lot cooler and it would help this line a lot get out there, you know, if it has a little bit better distribution. But it's a pretty good figure. I don't think it's figure of the year type deal for me personally, but it's a cool figure. And there you go, guys. That's my review. Hope you dug it. Let me know your thoughts down below. And if you could please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram. Stay safe. Till next time. Peace out, peeps.